Ji, Yu, Jin, Rei, Sei, Meiyo, Chuji. Righteousness, courage, benevolence, respect, honesty, honor, loyalty. These are considered the 7 core values of Bushido, the way of the warrior. But are we sure that's all? Let's take a step back. Hi, I'm Irene and welcome to my channel. Grab a cup of matcha, get comfortable, because this is a story worth listening from start to finish. Chapter 1, the story of 47 Rōnin. It's 1701. Asano Naganori, a young daimyo from the Hyogo prefecture, serves at the castle of the 5th shogun Tokugawa. Naganori is given the task of organizing a reception for the imperial court. But there's a problem. He is continuously publicly humiliated from the master of protocol, Kira Yoshinaka. A power play, one humiliation after another, slowly wearing down the young daimyo. Chapter 2, Naganori's reaction. One day Naganori snaps, and in a rush, he strikes Yoshinaka within the castle, breaking one of the most sacred rules: never draw a weapon without necessity inside the castle. A hasty action that will change his life forever. Yoshinaka survives, but Naganori is sentenced to seppuku, ritual suicide, a tragic fate, inevitable according to the laws of the time. With his death, his samurai became Rōnin, masterless warriors, scattered and without a purpose. Chapter 3, the Rōnin's revenge and public reaction. But the story doesn't end here. 2 years later, the 47 Rōnin reunite to avenge their lord. Silently, with patience and cunning, they are planning their revenge. And they strike when no one expects it. They kill Yoshinaka and place his head on Naganori's grave, one symbolic powerful gesture that seals their loyalty. Then, fully aware of the consequences, they surrender to the shogunate. Unlike their lord, they are also ordered to commit seppuku. This story, true or not true, divided public opinion in Japan. Some criticize the Rōnin for defying the laws, while others saw them as a hero, willing to sacrifice everything to honor their lord. But we have to ask, why all the uncertainty? Wasn't there a code, Bushido, guiding the samurai? And here's the question. What does really means Bushido? Chapter 4, the truth about Bushido. The truth is, Bushido, as we know it today, wasn't as such a rigid, universal concept. The way of the warrior was something more fluid and adaptable to circumstances. Every era, every situation, every samurai interpreted it in their own way. There wasn't a precise manual that dictated how to behave in every situation. And then, during the Tokugawa period, the samurai became more bureaucrats than warriors. It's in this context that behavioral rules are formalized. And Bushido, as we know it today, was born. A code that idealized the nobility of the warrior and perhaps also justified their role at the top of society. Samurai, once feared warriors, transformed into guardians of order, protector of peace, police basically. Chapter 5, Samurai Values in the Medieval Period. But let's get back to the medieval period. Samurai values were very different. Honor, reputation, and pride. And shame was something to be avoided at all costs. A samurai might sacrifice themselves in a battle to elevate his family's reputation, but they may also betray their lot to survive. Survival, after all, was the only true victory. And the military tactics of the time reflected this pragmatism. Ambushes, night attacks, everything was allowed to win. Over the centuries, Bushido evolved because it was influenced by Zen Buddhism, Shintoism, Taoism, Confucianism, Platonism, a set of values that transformed the samurai, making them more aware of their role and responsibilities. It was no more just about fighting, but living according to principles that elevate their spirits. Chapter 6, the philosophical roots of Bushido. Zen Buddhism taught samurai self-transformation, calm in the face of death, and the ability to control their emotions. Shintoism strengthened the connection with the land and ancestors, instilling a deep sense of devotion. Confucianism emphasizes morality, the importance of social relationship, and filial piety. Taoism, finally, promoted the unity of thought and action, the cultivation of vital energy, qi. All these elements shape Bushido, making it a complex and multifaceted, complex landscape. Chapter 7, the 7 values of Bushido. Now, let's look at the 7 values of Bushido that have come down to us. Righteousness, Ji. The fundamental virtue, the way of thinking and acting with justice. Justice that knows no compromise, guiding every decision. Courage, you, doing what's right regardless of the danger. The courage to act, to take a stand even when everything seems lost. Compassion, Jin. A samurai must be strong but also capable of showing compassion. Respect, Rei. Respect and consideration for others. Respect is not just a form of education, but a manifestation of respect for humanity. Honesty and sincerity. Makoto or Sei. Keeping one's word, being truthful. A samurai's word is sacred. A promise made is a promise kept. Honor, Meiyo. The inherent value of samurai tied to fulfilling their duty. Honor is everything. Without honor, a samurai is nothing. Loyalty, Chugi. Obedience and loyalty to the group above all. Loyalty is the cement that holds together the group, the clan, the society. Some also add innate value, that is self-control. Jisei, because of a true warrior must know how to master themselves. Without self-control, honor turns into arrogance. And arrogance is a double-edged sword that hurts both the aggressor and the aggrieved. Conclusion. Today we don't talk a lot about Bushido, but rather Budo. While Bushido represents the ethical and moral code of the samurai, Budo focuses more on Japanese martial arts like Judo, Aikido, Karate, Kendo. If Bushido is the spiritual and philosophical path of the warrior, Budo represents the practical expression of those values through combat and physical training. In other words, Budo is the vehicle through which the ideals of Bushido manifest. Even today, this concept not only influenced the Japanese culture, but modern society as well, where principles like honor, hierarchy, and self-discipline are still highly valued. And what do you think? Is there still a place for these values in the modern world? And is worth in preserving them? Let me know in the comment, and if you want, we can dive deeper into Bushido and the implication in the modern society. And that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I was really passionate about making it, so if you reached this point, if you are still with me, I really appreciate as well emoji in the comment section below. Thank you for staying with me till the end, and see you next Wednesday. Ciao!